Good morning, my name is Nevaeh Davis.
And I'm Lexi Leftwich.
Nice to meet you. I'm Olivia Moore, the manager here at the East Texas Oil Museum.
Awesome. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to work at the museum?
Well, I first learned about the museum the way a lot of folks do, by visiting. And I just absolutely fell in love with what is here and how it is interpreted and the message and the community aspect. It definitely has very strong ties to Kilgore and their surrounding areas. But I actually owned an antiques and collectibles company, and I kept seeing these amazing items go into private collections, never to be seen again by the general public. So when this position came available, I said I knew I needed to apply, and luckily they selected me to be the manager here.
Awesome. Could you tell us some history behind the museum?
Well, in the 1930s, there was an oil boom here in Kilgore and the surrounding areas, and there were major oil companies during the time, but they were not producers in this area. So a lot of them were independent. One of those independent oilmen was H.L. Hunt. And when he passed away in the 1970s, his family came to Kilgore College and said, we want to build something in honor of our dad, H.L. Hunt, and the other independent oil men and producers of the East Texas oil field. And with that, the Hunt Placid Oil Company paid for the building to be built, and the citizens of East Texas filled the building. So very few items that you see in the museum were purchased. Most of them were donated or gifted.
That's amazing to see how oil is incorporated in Kilgore. Could you tell us a little bit about the NASA museum that y'all are showing?
Yes, so the NASA exhibit is one of our special exhibits, and we change those out every few months. They range between 6 weeks long to this NASA exhibit is a little bit longer. It's for 3 months. It closes on March 26th. But each exhibit kind of takes you through a different part of either Texas history or local history or American history that you wouldn't necessarily be able to see in another place here in East Texas. So instead of you going to it comes to our visitors.
I love that. Could you kind of tell us a little bit more about the replica of the mobility unit space suit?
Yeah, so that is a showstopper. You come around the corner and you see the special exhibit room and it just pops. I mean, you can't miss it. And it was used in training in 1973-74. It weighs 180 pounds. Of course, that's virtually weightless in space. But it is, it's there, all the pieces, parts, and you just kind of get to get really close to something that it's hard to imagine people went into space in. Something similar to that.
Wow. What do you think visitors would take away from the NASA exhibit?
For me, I look at it a little bit differently than most folks. But one thing that I hear time and time again is, I can't believe they went to the moon in 1969 and landed on it. And when you think about the technology that was used in the shuttle versus what we all carry around in our pockets now, in our smartphones, it's just mind-blowing. I mean, when you think about the technology, and of course, one of the reasons that we have our modern technologies is because of the advances that happened during that time. But that's the one piece that everybody's like, I can't even fathom. Or if it's an older person, they talk about where they were. It's one of those points in history where it's, where were you when? And the moon landing in 69 is definitely one of those points.
That's where we can find more information about the museum and future exhibits.
Absolutely. If you go to kilgore.edu/oil museum and look at the special events tab, that will give you a lot of information about what we have going on currently and what we will have in the future.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.